spaces. Pretty neat little thing. This isn't. And with that, welcome back everybody to Karhuvaara series, my English series with roleplay and or slash story. And I did it. I got myself another tractor. We talked about this. I mean, well, let's address the elephant in the room because this thing isn't exactly what I was thinking about, and it's probably not what you were thinking about either. So there are a couple of reasons why I bought this, and I hope I can kind of convince you that this was a good idea. But let's just like go back for a second and look at this. This little tractor I did completely, basically down to the last bolt restoration of it, and that means that it's very reliable and it's basically a brand new tractor almost, but it has a few downsides. It's a bit small. It has, like, I think 32, 35 horsepower, and that depends on which norm you're using, if it's ISO or DIN, or there are different ways of measuring horsepower. And yeah, but it is in that area, in that range. But it has a very big drawback, and that is, you can obviously see it right here. It has a distributor, which means it is a gasoline engine. And gasoline engines aren't exactly known for low-end torque, so this thing is pretty neat in terms of like how fast it accelerates and how, I mean, it does a lot of RPM basically, but lower RPM range is just not that much power there, and obviously that is something with a diesel engine has a lot more low-end torque. So for example, if I try to turn on this mower, I have to really keep the RPM up so it doesn't stall, because the mower has a lot of mass to turn on and stuff like that, and generally you need to shift a bit more, or generally keep it a little bit in the higher RPM range. I don't know if it really makes that much of a difference. I think a 32, 35 horse diesel tractor isn't too different. Maybe had a bit more low-end torque, but I think this thing does have quite a bit of displacement, so it's not like a car engine. It does have more power than a car engine, or um, it's not comparable to a car engine the way it drives. So it is, but it's not a diesel engine. But the biggest downside of this tractor is basically just its size. It's just a little bit too small. We had, I mean, it worked. It worked fine for everything we needed to do. But obviously with the mower, it was very it was struggling, basically. We don't have much grass here. We don't have any fertilizer on it, so it didn't really. There wasn't really that much grass on the field, and it was okay. It was fine. It mowed, but I think with a little bit more grass, this would really struggle. Would really, really need to slow down, shift a couple of gears down, and really go very slow in order to not have this machine stall. Also, the weight is a bit of an issue. It has had a hard time lifting this mower. It was very light in the front. Even this tether, actually, it's more heavy than you think, and it's bigger than you think, and it's very far out. The way it, I mean, it's very far out from the 3-point tetra, so it also got a bit light in the front, and it's basically just a little bit too small. And so I was looking for another tractor, and I basically wanted to something just a little bit bigger and diesel. That was basically the thing I was looking for. Maybe 50, 55, 60 horsepower and diesel engine, and that was basically the categories I was looking for. So why did I buy this? Well, now that we talked about what I actually need, this is not what I actually need. This thing is huge. This thing is huge. This thing is very wide, as you can see. I did not try anything yet with it, but I imagine if I would use this 3-point, this small mower in 3-point of this big tractor, I think the rear tire will probably rub here or even destroy the mower here. I don't think I can even use it. And obviously the tractor is probably wider than either of those tools. Well, I don't think it's wider, but probably just as wide. As you can see, it's really big. So what are the reasons why did I buy this thing? Well, I mean, just look at it. Just look at it. You know, I'm kind of like, I do like something that is utilitarian but also beautiful. Like this tractor here, it's really, I mean, the levers are all basically where they are in terms of where it made the most sense of how the tractor was built, not how the driver would be able to access them. But it's still a beautiful tractor with like a nice hood and the grill and everything and nice lines here. So yeah, I like that. And obviously I'm really fond of my big loader that I have and of my Volvo um, the dump trailer tractor thingy. They all have nice lines, nice hoods, nice curves, and despite being very utilitarian, very much design around function, they are beautiful. This thing, on the other hand, I'm not sure. Man, it's probably as beautiful as a concrete bunker or something like that. It has a very unique design language, and it's basically as if the designer had a challenge on how many straight lines you can fit into a design, and or on the other hand, if you can create a tractor that has not a single curved um, sheet metal on it, and I think they succeeded. I don't think there's any single curved sheet metal on there. Even the fender is flat, just the side is cut out here. So, but I love it. That is basically the first reason, maybe the most important reason. The thing just looks so alien. It looks so different, and I do know that this wasn't just this tractor. Valmet in the area, right? In the era of where this tractor is from, did have a design like that. So the entire design language was that, and also even later, Valmet tractors were quite a lot of like very sharp corners and stuff like that. So that was the design language there. And I also know that in the time frame this tractor was built, other manufacturers also had this design language of basically no curves, no nice bend so in sheet metal, but basically this very tough, rugged, um, sharp design. That was a thing for a while. So it's not as alien as you might think, but I think compared to most tractors out there, it's still quite alien, and I think it's absolutely beautiful just for that reason. And obviously, I made it sound like there was no design there, but there is. I mean, you can see the grill, the hood, this cutout for the Valmet logo. I mean, also if you look down the side of it, it's a different angle in the back than in the front and stuff like that. So there is some design there. It's just very, very pointy. And well, the cab is small, and but there's also some design there. So um, I like it. I think it's really beautiful. And well, that was reason number one. Reason number two is, and I think we are just going to open the hood there. Okay, I can't open the hood without. That's stupid. Oh, there it is. A beautiful engine, and I can tell you this thing is very special. So this is basically a four-cylinder engine, so it is not that big of a tractor, even though it looks big and is long. It's just a little four-cylinder engine. It has 4.4 liters of displacement, which is not that much actually. And it has around 100 horsepower, which is quite a lot for a four-cylinder engine with 4.4 liters of displacement, especially in that time where this tractor was built. And you can see it has a additional gas tank, or well, it's a diesel tank here in front. It has a radiator in right behind that, and it's pretty much a pretty normal little engine, but it does have something very special, and this is this thing right here. So, well, what is this thing? This is a very special concept of boosting an engine. This is a complex boost charger, complex charger, and it's not a turbocharger, and it is not a compressor either. Um, Basically, the way it works is, and I can't really explain this 100% because I don't quite 100% understand it either, but you can see there's a shaft and there's a pulley in front, and this basically turns a shaft inside this charger, but this shaft, the turning of the shaft does not actually boost the engine, so this doesn't really, there's no pressure applied by that, it just turns. And there are a lot of chambers on a rotor in there, and the reason why it is turned is because those chambers basically are timed to the engine, and those chambers have basically an opening on each side, and that is timed to the engine, and it's actually quite difficult to set this up, which is probably one of the reasons why this technique never really took off that much, because you need to do a lot of setup time, a lot of engineering in order to make this charger actually work with a particular engine. And if you change something, if you put a very different exhaust on it or a very different intake or something like that, it all has to be done again. But if it really works and is set up correctly, the way it works is that basically the exhaust gases are expanding. They're rapidly expanding. Each time a combustion takes place, gases are expanding, and that's basically what drives your engine. But the thing is, the piston is all the way down, and the gases are still expanding. So if they're come out of the through the exhaust valve into the exhaust manifold, they are still in their expanding phase, and they're still basically building pressure. And there's also the reason why if you hold your hand to the exhaust, the gases aren't just flowing out, they're really there under pressure there. And that is also why turbocharging works, because you're making use of the pressure that is still in those expanding gases. And this is also how this thing works. But the way this works is that basically you have a lot of chambers in there, almost like tubes, but it's not really tubes, but you could imagine it as a road with a lot of tubes around them, and each of those tubes is air, fresh air, and basically fresh air comes in from one side, and exhaust air, expanding pressurized exhaust air, comes in from the other side and pressurizes that air. And if it's timed correctly, that pressurized air is then through the turning of the rotor and through opening basically a new port, moved into the intake pressurized. I think it works like that. I'm not 100% sure if it really works like that, but I'm pretty sure that the basically the exhaust gas just pushes the fresh air almost like a two-stroke engine. So the exhaust gas and the fresh air does actually get into contact with each other. They are not separated like on a turbocharger. And that is the really important thing, why this thing needs to be properly designed and timed and everything, because otherwise you would feed exhaust into the engine. And it's actually a thing that can happen if you basically if you put a exhaust flap on there and the exhaust flap would be a bit stiff, wouldn't really open well, then the entire thing wouldn't work as it's supposed to be, and you'd feed exhaust gases back into the engine and the engine would lose power. So it's really important that the exhaust is basically original and works as intended. Also the intake needs to be pretty much original and working as intended. If the filter is clogged or something, you have the same issue. You don't have enough fresh air in comparison to the exhaust, and you again get exhaust gases into the engine. But this is a really, really interesting concept of basically charging an engine, and the big advantage of that, especially in those times, is that this thing does not have a boost lag. Most turbocharged engines, old turbocharged engines, have a huge lag. You get on the throttle, you build boost, but it takes a moment. And a lot of people love that because, well, it takes a moment and then the vehicle takes off. And this is an amazing feeling. But if you really want to work with a vehicle, you need power right away. You don't want to have lag in your boost. And that is why this thing was developed, because there is no lag there. It's basically immediate boost as soon as you hit a gas. And that means also that you have basically boost right from the get-go, right in the low RPMs. And that's pretty cool, actually. And, well, one of the big reasons why I wanted this thing is obviously because of this thing. Not just because it's a really cool, special niche technique that hasn't been used much, and it's really cool, and it's a four-cylinder engine with a lot of horsepower. It has an amazing, glorious sound because the thing has vanes in them, has basically chambers in it, and they are all equally spaced. What you basically have is an air raid siren. Basically, yeah, this is an air raid siren bolted onto a tractor, and this thing sounds just glorious. It's almost like supercharger whine, but even more pronounced. You can't hear the engine over it, basically. I mean, if you really, really work the engine, yes, you can also hear the engine. But if you have a light load or basically around idle, you can only hear this thing. And that's why I had to get it. Reason number 3 is it was okayish price, so, and okayish, it has some rust on it, yeah, you can see that. And it's dirty, I might have to clean it. It's well used, but it's not abused. It clearly has had somebody taken care of it. I'm not sure if it is an older restoration or if it's just somebody has repainted stuff when stuff basically. I mean, I don't think it's the original paint everywhere, but yeah, it looks pretty good. So let's just get in it now, and let's turn this thing on. Are you ready? So what I do think we need to do is, I do think we need to up the sound here a bit. Up the sound here like that maybe, and then you can really hear it. Can you hear it? Especially around low RPM. Isn't that really amazing? I think I need to increase the volume a bit more. So just close this. Let's move inside here. So while we're here, we're just going to have a quick look around. So all the components, how to basically drive the thing. So we just set this to basically zoom in for a moment. So you can see right here we have the lever for the PTO. Disengage, engage. I think it's engage in the back, disengage in the front. So we also have some lights on there. I think just turn on if the PTO is on. Maybe, I don't know. I didn't really look at it. We have a basically a RPM meter over there. We have temperature and fuel over there. We have some idiot lights that turn on if the oil is low or battery doesn't charge. We have here a switch for basically the horn and lights and blinkers and everything. It's kind of a combination switch. It's pretty cool. Wipers or windshield washing, I'm not sure. Fan, windshield washer, lights, other lights, and obviously the key to start this thing. On this side over there we do have a lever for basically hare and rabbit gears, and I'm pretty sure this is a power shiftable thing. I'm not 1000% sure, but pretty sure. So I think this is the handbrake over there, but I'm not 100% sure either. And we have the gear levels here, and basically 1, 2, 3, 4 and a reverse gear like this. And yeah, sorry, the animation is messed up. I messed up the animation. Anyways, we have a main gear level with 4 gears and a reverse gear, and we also have a low and high range over there. And then the rest here is just hydraulic controls, and this is PTO speed control. So this PTO works like most PTOs. You basically make sure the PTO is off there. You pre-select the speed here, and then you turn the PTO on with that lever over there. So nothing special here. Yeah, windows on this side can turn. Yeah, I can exactly. Window can turn on. No, window can be opened on that side. Can't be on this side. Doors open in the front. Yeah, and it's a pretty tight cab, but the view out the cab is okay. I mean, if you really go back there, you can see down to the 3-point linkage, which is pretty neat, and you can also look in the front. So yeah, reset the zoom and just get going. So first gear. So I don't think I mentioned it, but obviously it doesn't have 4-wheel drive. Those were also available as 4-wheel drive versions, but this one is not. This one is a 2-wheel drive version, and I think that is plenty enough for everything we wanted to do. So yeah, why did I really get a thing? Basically because I like it. I mean, just listen to that. Isn't that amazing? This is so cool, and obviously as a mechanic, this is just, it's the best. It's the best. Just having something special, something that wasn't produced very much and it wasn't used very much, and I think it's just cool to have something like that. And obviously, I do like the design. There's are just, I mean, it does look like a bunker or a tank or I don't know, a house. it's all sharp corners and very pointy and very utilitarian. And you sit in here and look. Basically, it's a box. You have a box in front of you. There's no design there. It's just a box, and I love it. I mean, this is amazing. It does 32 kilometers per hour. so it's not too slow, plenty enough, and yeah, that's our new tractor now. What do we do with the thing? I have no idea. I just bought it because I really wanted it. And yeah, I think all kind of convincing and making up arguments why this was a good idea or why this was a bad idea. Let's be honest here. I just really wanted it. That is basically the main reason. And I think it would have been a lot more sensible to buy something around 60 horsepower or 50 horsepower, which you can actually use. As I said, this thing is probably too wide to use my mower. I will try this at one point. And you can see this field has been harvested by the guy who rents it, and the other one has not yet, but will probably be soon. We also have September now, and yeah, let's just drive back here. And again, the thing is just really wide. It does have rims in the back where you can adjust basically the track width, but I don't think I can adjust it small enough to not be an issue with the mower. If it's an issue with the mower, the only way this could not be an issue is if the basically if the lower links are far enough outside or away from the tires in basically the driving direction or the opposite of the driving direction of the tractor. I don't think we can hope for that, but maybe that would be the case, and then in that case that mower would work. Again, we could probably use the tether and the swather, the rake on it, but I think the rake, especially the rake, is smaller than the tractor, and obviously it would be stupid to use a small tether with a 100 horsepower tractor. So there's plenty of uses still for the small tractor, and I want to use it. I want to keep using it. That of course will not change, but I do think we need to find some implements for this thing. So I think one good idea will probably be getting a bigger mower. I mean, we could try that right now, right? If we are right here, why not? Why not really try it? Just attach this mower for a moment. I need to basically undo and I again forgot manual attach. I need to undo the turning things or the mower. Yeah, you know what I mean. So let's just try it. But I think we need a bigger mower. Obviously, this is quite small. But let's just try it. Let's see what happens. But I think it's, yeah, you can see it's I can't drive now because yeah, this would really destroy. I mean, there's a metal frame there, so it would really bend up the metal frame if I would move now. So yeah, that does not work. Let's just fold it back. So yeah, I think if I move the tires a little bit to the inside, it could, but I don't think it will. I don't think it will. I mean, if I have a centimeter or something like that of a gap, that's not enough, because this is everything moves and has a little bit of a play in it. So yeah, that's just too close. That does not work. So I was expecting that. So yeah, we need a bigger mower if we want to use this thing for mowing. In general, I do really I don't know how to use this thing. Again, none of my implements are working with the thing. It's just way too big. We don't have any fields yet. We don't do any field work. We don't have any like big field work implements. I want to do basically make a small garden. So yeah, maybe I can get a trailer and move around some logs with it. I don't know. I really don't know. But I think moving forward, this was not a bad choice. Yeah, 60 horsepower would probably been better, because we could have used, but it depends. It depends a lot. I mean, there are small 60 horsepower tractors and there are big 60 horsepower tractors. So let's just say, if I would have gotten a smaller tractor, which could have used the implements we already have, that would have been a smarter decision. But I didn't, because I really wanted this thing. So yeah, you can tell me in the comments how stupid I am, and I probably am. But well, we have this thing now. I mean, it doesn't have to be our only additional tractor, right? I mean, we could get a third one that is around 60 horsepower if I come across some tractor. But again, I think going forward we will increase the size of our implements. Yes, I bought a lot of those implements because they're historic and because they were very cheap. All of my implements were very cheap implements. I mean, I repainted many of them and fixed a bit of them. So I have implements I can use with the thing, but they're basically almost free, most of them. The mower wasn't. The mower did cost a bit of money, but many of them basically scrap price or less than scrap price. So that's not a really money wasted. I still love to have them, and I want to keep them. So even if I get bigger implements, I think I will still keep them to be using them with this tractor, just to have something to maybe go to a historic tractor show at some point, or just for me personally, for my fun, just to use my very well restored old tractor here. But I think going forward, for the real work we will be doing on this farm, we will get bigger implements. Maybe not implements for a 100 horse tractor, maybe implements that could also be used with a 60 horse tractor. But so yeah, this thing is probably going to be overpowered for what we needed to all the time. But that's not really an issue. I think we just need to make sure that the implements are big enough to actually work with how wide this tractor is and how big this tractor is. I think that is the most important thing. And other than that, I don't really care about efficiency. I don't really care if the thing is basically just idling using an implement, because, well, just look at it, right? So yeah, that is the biggest update, the biggest news we have on this farm so far. And I'm keeping my eyes open for more things, for more implements, for more stuff. I also want to show you something really quick before we, and I really talked a lot. This is a talking episode again. I really didn't want to do that. I wanted to do a lot of time lapses like in the last one. Actually, that is more my preferred style of video. But what I wanted to show is that I loaded those logs up that were laying around here, but I did it with the pallet forks. That was before I got the auction things. Actually, that was basically would have been a part of the last video, but it wasn't because I didn't record it. So I cut them all in the middle. So they are pretty short now, and I think we just load a few more, and then we'll actually bring them down to the sawmill or log dealer and see what we get for them. Probably not very much, but we will give it a try. And we also can use the new bucket grab, see if it actually works or not. I don't know. So yeah, plans for the future, plans for right now. Get a few more logs. We need to see which ones we will take down, and also use the small tractor to create a small field around here, unless I can get that field back. I have not talked with the farmer yet. So far I did rent this out, and I don't know what I would do with it if I had it all. Maybe seed in some grass, so I have more grass for now. I think that would be a good idea, because I'm not really set up to like grow an entire field of wheat or something like that. But anyways, I think we're going to talk about that with the farmers, see if they are giving those fields back to me. I mean, obviously I can say to them, well, I'm basically I'm throwing you out, can't rent this anymore. I don't know how the contracts are, if I can throw him out this year or only next year or something like that. But I don't want to do that. I mean, it's their livelihood, it's not mine. And eventually I do want to make use of all my property, of course, and long term I do want the fields back. But short term I don't necessarily need them, so we don't want to throw them out. But I think we want to talk to them about that, and just see if what they will come up with. If they say, yeah, it's fine, it's okay, I don't really actually need it. I mean, of course, they need it, but also, I mean, they pay me to rent them. So yeah, maybe they say, well, it's not worth the effort. It's not that much of a loss actually. I don't know. Maybe not. So that's why we need to talk to them to see how they would react, and how they think to do this moving forward. I mean, if they say, yeah, we really need that, I think we would make a contract of like a couple of years and basically say, yeah, you can have it a couple more years, but then I need it or something like that. So again, I don't really want to throw them out, but also want to kind of use my property. But of course, we could also fell a few trees, or the field over there, which is grass, we could just use it to grow some crops. That would also be a possibility. So yeah, I think that was all for the September update, and I will have the camera back as soon as we go to work with something. So I think since the last clip or the last video segment I made, there is a few days gone by, maybe more than a few days. We are now really into fall. You can see all the leaves are turning brown, and I bought something. I bought an implement for this tractor so we can finally use it, and I bet you none of you will have any idea, or no, that's not the right way to say. I bet none of you think of the implement that I actually got, because, well, I got a winch. I got a winch, brand new thing, brand new Typhoon winch. It's not a big one. It's basically one for a 60 horse tractor, so yeah, we're going with our theory of buying implements that could also be used with 60 horsepower. So it's bit too small for this tractor actually, but I think for our purposes it is fine, and it was way cheaper than getting like a really big one. I think a 6.8 ton or a 6.5 ton winch, bigger like 8 or 10 ton winches would be way more expensive. So yeah, reason for getting a winch is basically, let's just start this thing. Come on. Fine. So reason for getting a winch is basically well, we need to fell a few trees. And we have a forest where a lot of trees are standing really close to each other, and we basically need to thin it out a bit. And most parts of our forest can actually be driven into. It is not that the trees aren't that close together that no tractor would fit in it, but you have to basically drive a bit left, bit right, bit left, bit right, and kind of snake your way through the forest, but you can get into them, and I've driven into the forest. With the smaller tractor, I had driven into the forest a couple of times in a couple of places, but also with the loader. Last time, I think even on camera when we fell a few trees in there. So it is possible, but it's a bit cumbersome to drive into the forest. Obviously, the ground is uneven, and we are compacting the forest. We are mowing down trees that are growing. I mean, you can see, I could easily drive into this, right? I mean, this is not an issue, and I mean, I could, in theory, I could just drive into it for now. But the more we get into the forest, the more difficult it gets to find a path. Right here, for example, where do I go now? I think I could go over there, so I don't mow down those fresh new trees that are growing, and then I would go over here. And yeah, it's working, but let's just say it isn't the best. I mean, I can of course kind of make some tracks or ways through it, but if I really want to get to every tree I fell and load it right there in place with my big loader, I'm really basically plowing up the forest soil, because I obviously one tree is about 3 or 4 trips, so I need to go in a couple of times, and I don't want to do that. So that is the reasoning for buying this winch basically, so I can get the trees out without driving into the forest a lot. Obviously the winch is also making a mess. I'm not disputing that, but I think it's less of a mess. And yeah, we will just see how this works out. This is the first test. I never really tried it before, but I got my chainsaw with me, and I think we're just going to go in here and look for a tree or a couple of trees. Maybe oh, this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. Those two I can fell because this one and this one then has some space to grow. So I mean, it's not really far away from the tractor now, but it's fine. Let me just get a chainsaw and cut this tree down. So just like that, we did fell one tree. We're cutting down the second tree. And now the question is, what do I do next? I could obviously cut all the stuff off of them, or I could try if I could maybe winch them out from here. I don't know, maybe. I think I need to turn the thing on, or maybe not. Let's just give it some throttle here. Yep, turn the PTO on, and then grab the thing. What's it called? You know what I mean. And let's just put it right there, and then I think we could. Oh yes. Oh yes. Let's just see if it works. It does. We are winching. Obviously, winching against another tree and destroying its bark is a bad thing. Wow. Oh boy. I just moved the tractor quite a bit. I think those two trees are probably a bit too big for what we are doing here. But yeah, let's just... Whoa, 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 whoa. So now let's just see if we can get into the tractor. Lift the winch up. Well. Oh boy. I think if I now want to drive forward, first of all, let's just too low. Wow. Okay, maybe. Okay, we can push this one back. I think I might actually want to go into the lower range, like this, and let's just see. Can actually. Yeah, it works. It works. I mean, I didn't plan this very well, so we need to kind of mow down this tree, but then we have basically a straight path out of here, so that would probably be our path in for now. And I think we are going to drag those trees out into the meadow or into the grassland and then cut them up there. I think that's actually a pretty cool thing to do. And yeah, it's already, I mean, it's already really good that we have a big tractor, because imagine a small 60-horse tractor probably wouldn't be able to pull those 2 trees all in all out of here. This one does. So yeah, I mean, obviously it does go downhill a bit, and yeah, we did did put it on its back wheels for a moment there, but I think now we have a pretty good grip on the tree, and yeah, pretty well balanced right now. I think if it would go uphill, it would probably struggle, and front wheels would see some air again, but I think like this is just fine. And yeah, that's nice. I really enjoyed it actually. I didn't even think it would go that well, but it does. So yeah, I think the winch was a good investment. So the idea is basically to do exactly that, what we did now, make a way into the forest, a track or something, and then basically winch trees in from left and right, so we don't have to drive into the forest all too far. So yeah, that is pretty much what we're doing now, and I think that looks good. So let's just they are kind of the pressure now. We need to let the winch go a bit. Perfect. And then yeah, very nice, very nice. So yeah, I think I'm going to cut down the tree, and honestly I really thought about what to do or how to basically do forestry in farm sim. Interesting, because basically when I use the chainsaw now, I don't think it's good practice to time-lapse that, because it's a lot of moving around and that doesn't make for a good time-lapse. So I think I'm just going to do that off camera. Well, I'm done. I cut them all into, well, rough segments. I didn't really measure it, I just went by eye. I think this is all a bit of an experiment. Again, I'm pretty sure that they won't really pay me much at the sawmill. But I never went there, so well, I could have called them. It would have probably been the better choice to just call them and ask them what kind of trees do you want, what length do you want. But yeah, I really messed that up a bit. But I think we're just going to load up the dumper and drive there and see what they say about it. I mean, if they want to turn it into paper, they obviously need to transport it to a paper mill, and they want a fixed length for that, so they probably don't even want those logs. Maybe maybe we should probably just turn them into firewood. We'll see, we'll see. Now is actually the first time we are going to try out this very nice, really big, way too big shovel with the very weird angle of attack, basically. I don't know if angle of attack is not really at all used at a shovel, but I think it fits. We're kind of attacking the tree, and the angle isn't really what we wanted. So yeah, let's just see what happens now. First of all, open this, then this, and I mean, this is basically, we can't get any more angle out of it, so let's just try and see what happens. I have a feeling that it does not go well. Yep, I wasn't wrong. That's not great. It's actually pretty horrible. That is so horrible. Yeah, how do we do this? I think we are back to the pallet forks again. That's bad. That is really bad. Yeah, I kind of had a feeling that would actually happen. Oh yeah, nope. I wanted to say, oh, we grabbed one. No, we did not. We did not. Okay, so yeah, I can use the thing to kind of move brush around and stuff like that, but apparently, yeah, the angles are just wrong. So the big question is, what do I do now? Obviously, it was a sight unseen auction buy, even if it was a new piece of equipment. So I couldn't really measure or look at it because it was quite far away. So yeah, that's kind of the risk you're going with when you just buy something off of one or two screens, or one of two pictures on a screen. So yeah, I think either I need to re-weld the attachment point, so that is the different angle. But I guess that that's probably not the best idea. It is a brand new shovel. It's pretty expensive, I think. The best would probably be to resell it and look for a different one. I think that's probably the smart move to do. Again, I bought it at an auction, so I think I paid a little bit less than it actually worth. Um, Not because it's an auction, you can also pay a lot more than it's actually worth on an auction, but because I set myself a limit and I try to. I mean, basically, I looked at what those things would cost if I bought them regularly, and I set my limit lower because, well, otherwise I could just buy them regularly. So I think we won't make too much loss. I think that's probably still a loss because, well, buying something new from a private seller is difficult because, well, not really like warranties and stuff like that. So obviously I don't expect to get as much as the thing is worth, but I won't make too much of a loss, I think. The other idea would be to contact the auction again and see if they want to auction it off again. But I think they have quite big auction fees, so I might take the same loss there. Also, we would need to transport it down there. Well, we'll see about that. I don't really know now, but at some point we'll probably figure out what to do. I don't think that's important now. I think important now is to kind of try and get these logs on there without destroying the meadow too much. Would be nice to have two people here, so one could kind of help roll the log on. Well. And also I think I still left him a bit long. Not sure if that actually works on the dump trailer. Also, of course, some of you might say, now you're just compacting your nice meadow instead of the forest. It's also not great, and you're obviously very correct about that. I think in the future I don't want to. Basically, I want to streamline the process a bit, so I don't have to drive around a lot. It's also all a bit more direct, a bit better. So I think we are on the right path there, and I think that is not an issue. Also, I do have plenty of areas. Oh, great. I think he needs a little bit of encouragement. Just give it a bit of a push, and then it fell. Perfect. So, yeah, what I wanted to say is, like, where those machines are, there's not really usable meadow, there's not really great grass, so I think, yeah, we need to streamline this process. We really need to streamline this process. But we will. It's all a bit of a learning curve. Well, we made a mess of that. We really did. Yeah, I think what we learn of this is basically this is a good investment. This entire operation works really well. I think that tractor is perfect for this. It's small and nimble enough to get into the forest through those pathways I'm trying to make, but it's also big enough to pull out trees. So I think this was well worth investment getting a winch for it, and I think actually I tried to really talk myself and you into believing that this purchase made sense, thinking it didn't. But looking at this, it really does. I mean, we do have a lot of forest here when we're going to do a lot of forestry, so I think in that regard, this was actually a really smart purchasing this. Our shovel, obviously, really bad decision. This just doesn't really work. Obviously, I could push the pallet forks. I mean, this is heavy and has power enough. So even though the ground is pretty hard around here, I still would have no issues just driving it into the grass. But I try to not destroy the grass, and it's really difficult to actually get a tree kind of climbing onto there because, well, it doesn't slide well. And I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Maybe I'm just using the machine wrong. Maybe I have a wrong angle here. Maybe if I would, but long story short, we need a different approach to that. So yeah, we made a mess of that. I think what we're going to do now is just use the thing, drive it to the sawmill. Seriously, there's a lot of room here still, but I think that is the best thing we can actually do because, well, again, I don't know what the sawmill is going to say. Maybe they say, well, you can take those trees. So most likely they're going to say that. So I think the best thing to do is to just go there and see, and yeah, see where this leads to basically. So I think that is what we are going to do next. And yeah, there is basically the sawmill. We also have a carpentry over there, but I don't think they want the trees. So I think we just go there to this sawmill, and yeah, just to kind of give you an overview of all that. That is the small village with all the shops and everything, and that is where my farm is. So we really don't need to go far. So yeah, let's just do that and see what happens. Oh, it starts. For a moment there, I thought it wouldn't start. It really gave me a bit of a scare there, but it did. It does. And yeah, let's just go for our first load. I don't think we need to like make any tie downs, traps. It's gonna stay there, and we don't go very far. Okay. I can tell you, I did drive the thing around a bit here on the property. I didn't really use it for much, and it's different if you have a load on there. Even if the load is pretty much just halfway full and not very heavy, still a different feeling. It's like if you have a trailer on your car or something, if there's something on it, it just feels different. It feels like it has a purpose. If you're just dragging it behind, it doesn't really feel like there's a purpose to it. This way there really is a purpose. So yeah, I'm actually enjoying this. Maybe a bit too much. I probably should kind of concentrate a little bit more so I don't mess up anything here. And I can tell you the feeling of driving this thing is just so incredibly weird because basically you're sitting on the front axle, but you have this huge bonnet in front of you, and yeah, it's just the weirdest feeling, but like it. So oh, it really messes with everything you learn when driving, every feeling you have, everything, because you turn the steering wheel and instead of the vehicle moving somewhere, you move somewhere, and it's just so weird. Obviously they are articulated like wheel loaders and stuff like that, but it's still different. Yes, you move the steering wheel and you move, but you're in the middle of it. It's different. It's just really different. so weird, I tell you. And yeah, apparently this is full speed, so those things don't go very fast. They don't. They weren't meant to like go on the road far distances. They're basically quarry trucks or for bigger construction sites or something, road construction. That's where they were used to, or that's what they were built for, I think. I don't think they were built for actually going on or down the road, but the thing is registered and it can go down the road. It has all the lights and everything, so I will take it down the road. And I tell you, even 26 kilometers an hour feels so odd if everything moves as soon as you touch the steering wheel. And it's really touchy, the thing. I don't know. I did actually look at the bushings and everything, and it's not worn out. it's just really touchy. So yeah, I don't have to turn the steering wheel much for it to kind of really go swirly. So do we have brakes here? Yes, we do have brakes. That is nice. I did make a huge mistake there. I drove downhill here, full speed, and I did not downshift. Usually, you want to downshift and have the engine brake effect if you have heavy trailer or something. So yeah, luckily we do have good brakes. It could have gone really wrong. I'm doing the same thing again now. But let's be honest here, 25 kilometers an hour isn't really that fast. That is already, I mean, in a like a big truck or something. 25 kilometers an hour downhill, engine braking, you'd probably do only with like really heavy loads. So yeah, I think we're fine there. Also jumped out of gear for some reason. Okay, and you probably need to check that out, why it does that. Yeah. So let's just enjoy our drive a bit more. And take it to the sawmill right there and see what they say about our weird trees. Oh boy. This was a bad idea. This was such a bad idea. Slow down. Or shift. Very nice. Getting used to it, I think. Maybe not really. But here we are at the sawmill. And I'm not really sure where to actually... I think... I don't know. I have no idea. Let me just find somebody. Length, and they also gave me a list of what specific length they are optimized for, so I can basically measure them out. But they took out trees, and what they do with those trees is pretty interesting. They make firewood. They do have a firewood processing machine, like one where you basically put in the trees and it saws them and splits them and everything, and they do basically make firewood and sell firewood around here. And also not even just around here, but they also basically truck it away to very different parts of the country. And so yeah, all like the trees that are too small and not or too short and not really meant for actually making boards or something, they make firewood out of. So they do also sell stuff on to make paper, but not that much actually. They do collect a bit, and if they have enough, they kind of get a load to a paper mill. But usually they do just cut them into boards or make firewood. So yeah, that's actually pretty cool, because it means that basically every wood I get that is somewhat workable in a machine, in the firewood processor, they have kind of limit of how big the tree can be, and obviously if you have like a very big stump in the end or something like that, that doesn't work. But every halfway normal tree that halfway straight would go through their machine, and so I can sell that to them. Obviously I don't get too much money for that, because well, it's just firewood, and firewood isn't very expensive here, and they need to have their machine working on it, so the amount they can pay me is very little, but I can actually get some money for very unusable wood, which I'm really happy about. I thought about making firewood myself and trying to sell it to my neighbors or something like that, but yeah, that's obviously way easier, because I would have to get some machines as well. So yeah, that's good news. And other than that, it's raining now, so I guess I'm going into my truck and going back to work. I actually moved a few things around to have more time here, and basically stuff that wasn't immediately necessary to fix. I basically said, yeah, well, how about next week or something like that, and so I did basically move stuff around to where it rains. And I don't know if that's a really good idea, because it rains everywhere right here, right now. Some of my jobs are really far away. I mean, I do drive like hundreds of kilometers. So yeah, probably not raining everywhere, but jobs around here. I'm now working in the wet, but I thought that maybe doing jobs today at home on the farmstead would be more enjoyable in the dry weather. And obviously, I'm working in the rain anyways. I'm working every day. If there is something to fix, I'm fixing it, and even if I'm really down to basically the underwear wet with the rain, that doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm not sure if that was a great idea to move stuff around that way, but basically I thought, yeah, let's just do some work on the farmstead as long as the weather is still dry and move all the non-essential um, non-essential stuff at work in the rainy period. So, well, we'll see if that was a good idea. Right. Well, I didn't move the thing here. Stayed for a couple of days, but I actually this is here, and I loaded logs up. I did it at night, so I didn't really film it. I used the bale grab or bale fork instead of the pallet fork, and it seemed to have worked a little bit better. But I need to be really careful because those easily bend. So I don't think that's the solution either. I think we really need to work on kind of custom fabricating a fork to get those things lifted. But yeah, we are yeah, right. We are going back into the forest and try to fell a few more trees. I think we need to cut this one down, and I think this is difficult. I would have wanted to cut it down there. There's also this small tree here in the way. I think we cut it up there for now and see what happens. Well, that is very nice. I think we can get this out easily just through here. And yeah, we'll just take the chainsaw with us and cut a few more trees down. Again, this is my track or way in, and let's just see. I mean, those two are way too close together, so I think we have the same issue here. I want to cut it down this way so I can pull it out in that direction. So I think we can do it like this. And yeah, we're just going to keep going and cutting down trees here and pulling them out.